All right, we're gonna start off with the pre-show. We're gonna review Money in the Bank. Thought it was a great show. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I take that back. I'm being real nice here. I thought it was an okay show. The pre-show match. We're gonna start Jeff Hardy taking on Cesaro. Jeff Hardy winning in 13 minutes. Wasn't he supposed to be facing Sheamus? I don't know what happened here, and they put Cesaro, which I was fine with. I thought the match was okay, but Jeff Hardy, the way they're building him up, I don't understand why they put him on the pre-show and yet put a match, with R-Truth and Bobby Lashley. Didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I'm kind of happy that Jeff won, and hopefully this is something good going on for Jeff.
Yeah, well, Jeff is one of those guys that everyone loves. He has this crazy connection with the fans, and I think he's a believable top guy. He hasn't been a top guy for a while, but I think you can easily make the case. I think they can easily build him back up. It shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, let's see if he keeps kicking ass, and let's see if he
Yeah, I mean, I got the same position with Jeff Hardy. I mean, I'm with Julio on this one. I don't know why you would put Jeff Hardy in the pre-show and have R-Truth and Bobby Lashley on the actual card. So, listen, Jeff Hardy and Cesaro, they're always going to put on a good match. Jeff Hardy wins. That's expected. A little disappointing that they're in the pre-show because, in all honesty, for a show that only ran a little under 2.5 hours, you could have added another 10, 15 minutes to the show and had that be part of it as well. They deserve to be on the main card.
Yeah, it's so funny that it's like a 2 hour and a half show, and it didn't feel star-studded. It didn't feel big. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, this pay-per-view really, it had no hype for me. I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't looking forward to it. So yeah, that's how I felt about the show. All right, the opening match was the Fatal 4-Way. As expected, the New Day won this match. They defeated the Forgotten Sons, Miz and Morrison, and the Lucha House Party. I kind of thought at first, why is the Lucha House Party here? And then I said, oh, light bulb. They're the ones who's gonna get the fall, because I know they're trying to protect the Forgotten Sons. I know they're neither Miz or Morrison is going to take a pinfall, but this is really nothing new. New Day is on pace to breaking all records when it comes to the tag team division. I think that's their goal, is to just have these guys break the records, the most title wins, the most days won, most pay-per-view wins, you call it. And as far as the New Day, I think breaking up, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I did kind of disagree with you guys when we had this conversation before, but now I realize it is true. There's no point of breaking them up. So yeah, New Day won this match in 12 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, this is one of those popcorn matches. This is like a Fast and Furious. And I'm okay with having, especially an opening match, if it's just a go out there, tear the house down, screw it type of match, an super athletic match. I'm okay with that. It was a fun match. The only thing I don't like is, it's like you have all these teams that don't feel important, and then they're fighting for a title. It's like, okay, I get it, but it's like, why? You could have easily built up a tag team, make them feel serious, and then have them go against the New Day, instead of just, let's get everybody who can have fun matches, and let's just have a random match. Yeah. Okay, I mean, at least it was good, exciting action.
It was a good match.
It was a good, exciting. It was exciting action in the ring.
Yeah, this is the kind of match that actually kind of drives me crazy because, realistically, this is one of those matches where unfortunately nobody gets over. What I mean by that is the New Day are already over. They're not going to get over any more than they already are. Miz and Morrison is kind of the same thing. They're stalwarts. The idea here is that you want to feature the Lucha House Party, which I think they did a good job of featuring them, even though they took the fall. And I know that that the match was designed to kind of get the Forgotten Sons offense in the match, which they did a good job in. The only one thing that I really noticed about the Forgotten Sons in this match is just how there's just something really bland and opaque about those guys. Jackson Riker, which we all know from TNA, is the former Gunner. When I see the Forgotten Sons, he's like the only person that I'm really looking at, and he's not even in the match. He's not wrestling, which drives me crazy because he looks so much better than the other two guys. And don't get me wrong, the other two guys look good, but there's just something about Jackson Riker that I want to see him wrestle.
Hey, Lou, you know what's crazy about that?
It just drives me nuts.
You know what's crazy about that? That he's probably the one you want to see most, and even he is bland. Bland in TNA.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
But the thing,
he looks great,
and I think that's the point of it, is that he looks so good that you can do a lot with him, at least from a looks department. I just think that this particular match didn't get anybody over. Realistically, what I would have done in a situation like this, you don't need to defend the tag team title. So realistically, you can have the New Day and Miz and Morrison. They can either work against each other in a separate match, or they can have a seat, and then you basically have Lucha House Party work against the Forgotten Sons. And even though that is not, that's obviously not a pay-per-view quality match, that is the perfect, TV match. But it really serves its purpose in the fact that it's able to feature the Lucha House Party, and then you can give the Forgotten Sons a good win. So I don't know. This match, I understand the purpose of it in terms of trying to make it look more important. But again, it's like Victor said. You have four teams that don't really feel important and wrestling for a championship that doesn't feel important either. So it's unfortunate, but good action, good. Oh, listen, all 8 guys worked hard. All 9 guys, let's include Jackson Riker, and and the referee as well. All 10 of them worked really hard. But it's just a matter that at the end of the day, it was like, it's not a match that anybody's going to remember, as anything spectacular. So.
Look, the Forgotten Sons, it sucks because everyone knows that they're bland. There's something missing. They don't have the it factor. And then you do nothing to help them. You just throw them out there. He goes, here, just go have matches. No, I need, why not have something, interview these guys, have backs, behind the scenes. Let's have a sit down with these guys. Let's talk about their military background. That could get them over. If they're like, look, I'm a good old American boy who used to be a soldier or, whatever. And, I was in Iraq or wherever they were. And, this happened to me and I lost some friends and, that'll get them over. But we don't know shit. We just know they're called the Forgotten Sons and we think they used to be in the military.
and yeah, I mean, that's exactly the same thing that I said in the last video. It's a matter of, this is where the vignettes work well for these guys. It's a matter of introducing them. Unfortunately, it's kind of like a trial by error, or I shouldn't say trial by error, it should be baptism by fire. They're just kind of WWE's throwing them in there and seeing whether they sink or swim. From an athletic perspective, they're going to swim, don't get me wrong. Yeah. It's just a matter of whether or not the personalities gel enough that the audience would care to watch their matches. Because from an athletic standpoint, all 3 guys are going to be able to swim, that's for sure. It's all a matter of whether or not you can get their personalities over so that the fans and the people watching on TV will actually care when they're on.
I agree. Great. All right, guys. Next match, the Fatal 4-Way could be a contender for match of the night. I hope we all can agree on that. But next would probably be the contender for Doll of the night. We got Bobby Lashley versus R-Truth. The match was what it was. It was short. It was only mere minutes. I don't know. I kind of feel they kind of, this match was more kind of like they were kind of portraying Bobby Lashley as sort of a monster. And also, too, they're kind of teasing a Bobby Lashley and MVP alliance. But this match, it's just, this should have gone on the pre-show, as I said earlier. It lasted just mere 2 minutes. But yeah, coming out of this match, Bobby Lashley came out very strong, and also too, I see, the alliance between him and MVP, kind of like that reuniting of the whatever that TNA group that they had with this other cat.
Oh yes, you're talking about. Oh, I like that group.
Samoa Joe and Low Key.
Yeah. I like that.
I forgot. I know they were. Yeah, I know they were an alliance with Bobby Lashley, MVP and some other dude there. I forgot who it was, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that rumor about Apollo Crews. It looks like they were, let's just give it to Lashley. Unless they also get Apollo Crews. Unless they get Apollo Crews as well, who's basically baby Lashley. You know, he kind of looks like him a little bit, but he's just a little shorter, but he's just as jacked. You know, Lashley's getting, just like Jeff Hardy, he's getting this renewed push she should have got from the beginning. I don't know why, you know, you have this stop and start booking with all these guys that are supposed to be, you know, at least close to the main event. A guy like Lashley, when he made his return, I was like, okay. So the only thing everyone wants to see is Lashley against Lesnar. Even in real life, people wanted to see that. They wanted to see that in MMA.
Match for SummerSlam.
Yeah, they could, you know. So maybe he's getting this new push. Let's see how it goes. I'm okay with it. I kind of feel bad for R-Truth. I kind of want to see R-Truth get a nice push before he retires, man. This guy still looks great. He still looks the same. He still works the same. He's one of the best workers in the damn company. No one even knows except the people who work there. Fans just think he's a joke. If you watch his stuff from TNA, that guy can work his ass off. He's still shredded as can be. He's earned it, in my opinion, to have one of those miracle runs, like, you know, nice little close to the main event or something. I want to see him get something. Let's see.
Yeah, I would love to see that too. You're right. Yeah, absolutely right.
I mean, listen, with the one thing about this match is that it actually, you know, it served its purpose. You know, the original match was actually supposed to be R-Truth against MVP. That was the original advertised match, and switching it to Bobby Lashley is perfect because, I mean, listen, Ron Killings he's amazing. All right, no matter he's kind of playing now the Santino Marella role in WWE, being the comedy guy. But the thing about Truth is that he's so endearing and he's so good at it. And, you know, obviously when he goes in and he's doing the what's up in an empty arena, that's meant for laughs. It's meant for that. And the thing about it is that even though R-Truth is a credible wrestler, but the fact is that he's been playing this comedic character for so long that he's the perfect foil for a guy like Bobby Lashley. Lashley comes out looking like a monster. R-Truth tries to be funny, and Lashley says no, takes him down. You know, whatever the match lasted, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever it is. And realistically, that's the kind of match that you need for a renewed push for Bobby Lashley. You know, I know that you guys talk a lot about, hey, Lashley versus Lesnar, and I'm like, no, that's a match that's worth $0 right now, and it has nothing to do with Lesnar or Lashley in real life. It's just a matter of how Lashley's been presented. So realistically, if you give him a renewed push and have him be associated with MVP, then from there, obviously now it's going to be groomed towards having Lashley work against Drew McIntyre for the WWE title at some point. And realistically, I think that for a guy like Lashley, knowing that, you know, the pandemic is kind of forcing WWE to work with a somewhat reduced roster, it actually can put a little more focus, a little more emphasis on him. And, you know, hopefully, you know, he can have in this somewhat renewed push, he can have an opportunity to really make good and to hopefully be able to get back to the main event.
Yeah. I'm not saying have him against Lesnar now. I'm saying he's a guy that when he first came in, when was that? Well, it was after WrestleMania, right? The Raw?
This was like 2 years ago, probably.
2 years ago, Raw after WrestleMania.
It was the WrestleMania after New Orleans.
Yes, the Raw. And yeah,
I'm sorry, the Raw after. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, I was there. I was at that Raw in New Orleans. Yeah, he showed up. Everybody went crazy, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. You know, and I know he can do it. I've seen him have some great main event matches in other places. So.
Oh no! Listen, Lashley.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that either about, you know,
I'm not saying now.
Lesnar by the way. Just future, there's money. Because I honestly don't believe that there's no money in that match. There is, just not now.
It's not now.
Yeah, you gotta build it up, and I'm okay with the match with R-Truth. I'm not saying R-Truth should have won or it should have been.
No. He
not at all. Not at all.
I hope before he retires, he has like a miracle run, you know, at least not to win a heavyweight championship or whatever WWE title universe, but to at least, you know, maybe win like like a #1 contender match, or something like that, and maybe work at a pay-per-view against a top champion and have a nice 20-minute or 15-minute match to show everyone, oh shit, R-Truth was the shit. Before he retires, he's getting old.
I'll tell you though, Ron. R-Truth looks like he's drinking out of the fountain of eternal youth.
Yes, he looks the same.
I need to hit him up on social media and ask him, hey Ronnie, what are you drinking, bro?
What are you waiting for?
I can use some of it.
Oh, Mother Teresa, what are you waiting on? You better do it now, man.
But I'll tell you what, for a guy like R-Truth, he gets so much television time with the 24/7 title and all these other things that, in all honesty, I mean, I understand the sentiment, but even if that never happens, his run in WWE has been outstanding, especially the second run that he's had. Man, it's been terrific. He's done so many cool things in the second run with WWE, even though now, most recently he's been doing the comedy stuff, but
everything he does is pretty much good.
Everything he does is gold.
He's not does nothing bad. He does nothing bad.
I have no arguments with him. I love the guy.
No. He does no wrong in my world. None.
Yeah. I'll pick him in any company. All right. So it's crazy that we stood that long talking about a 2-minute match. That is so amazing.
You got to give.
All right. So our next match is the Women's SmackDown Championship. Bayley defeats Tamina. I thought this match was relatively short. It was about 10 minutes. It was, they kind of told a good story. Bayley turned out to be like a great antagonist, and she received like a lot of help from her partner Sasha, during the match. Every time Tamina, had the momentum, had the opportunity to do something or maybe win the championship, that all came just crashing down because of Sasha. But I thought this match was short for what it was, and they actually told a good story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have no problem with the match. Tamina probably shouldn't be in the match to begin with, but it's okay because she's a big monster.
She's a big monster, and she's intimidating.
You can always go, okay, you can always throw her in these situations. It's fine. And she looks like she could kick everybody's ass. Yeah. But it's sometimes you need to have, these type of matches against somebody who probably doesn't deserve it. Just to kind of extend Bayley's run. Let's get another big win for Bayley. Just move it on. Let's move on from this. And most of the girls were in the Money in the Bank, so it's like, what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of match that I was a little disappointed by, only because you put Tamina in this match, and knowing that Tamina over the years has not had as many opportunities to work a match that, regardless of the circumstances, this is a high-profile match for her to be able to get a one-on-one match for the Women's Championship. This is one of those matches where even if Tamina would have won, and she would have been able to foil both Bayley and Sasha and be able to win the title, even if it's for a minuscule run, I would have been happy with it, because I don't think that I could ever recall Tamina being Women's Champion, and I think that this may have been her best opportunity to do it, even if it would have been a short run. I understand the whole thing of, keeping Bayley dominant, where she could still keep cutting her promos and call herself the most dominant women's champion, blah, 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 blah. But it kind of gets to a point where, for someone like Tamina, I kind of feel bad, because I know that in a situation like that, she's a hard worker. She definitely deserves the spot she's in. It's just a matter that I don't ever remember her being the women's champion. And I think that even if she would have won last night, I would have been okay with that, and had her work against Bayley, and even this week on SmackDown, and have her lose the championship. It's not designed for her to be champion for any extended period of time. It just would have been something to have that feel good moment for her, despite the circumstances, in an event that we can always look back on, and at least she had a run as the women's champion.
Yeah, I mean, look, I gotta. With me, when it comes to the women's titles right now, come off a little bit more prestigious than the men's titles. They're booked a little bit stronger. You take them a little bit more serious, and it's because of who they always have as champion. They have their best people as the champions. Tamina is probably not even a top 10,
No, you're right. No, you're right. I'm not arguing that.
The title. It's okay to tease it because she's big, but you know, if you're gonna do that with Tamina, you might as well do it with Nia, who's a little bit better at everything than Tamina is. You know, she's a little bit. She has more heat on her, and I'm okay with having these feel good moments. Like I want to have one with our truth, but I don't think she's earned that feel good moment yet. You know, her work has earned it, but her character on TV, the presentation hasn't been there for this feel good moment, that Kofi Kingston moment, or you know, the moment that I want with our truth. It's gonna happen. No, I'm kidding.
You're gonna petition for it. Okay, good man. Keep petitioning for it, Vic.
I'm gonna write a letter.
You do that. You do that.
I'm with Vic on this one. I'm rooting for our truth.
The subject line is gonna be our truth, our champ.
Ooh, I like it.
There you go.
All right. Speaking of champs, the next match is the Universal Championship match. Braun Strowman defeat Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend. And I guess, you know, a lot of people weren't happy that the Fiend was not in this match. I think they're probably holding the Fiend maybe for a major pay-per-view like SummerSlam. I thought the build up to the match was good. The match itself was anything but incredible. I thought it was a good match. It was far more or less. It was more mind games by Strowman, but it was what it was. It delivered. I didn't think Strowman should have dropped the title. It was still too early, especially to Bray Wyatt. But yeah.
I mean, this is the thing, like, where I'm not even thinking about Strowman. Like, you know, I'm just like, it's just such a distraction. Why is Bray in this match? Why is the Funhouse character ever fighting? Like, it's really weird. Yeah. I guess it's a good way to get him to lose. Yeah. But then you're gonna call the Fiend, and then the Fiend has to face Braun, and then what? Do you have a story? Have you thought this through? Because you have the Fiend, he's gonna come fight Braun. Now Fiend has to win, and then what? What is your plan? Now Fiend has the title, which is the same dilemma you were in before, where if you put the title on this character, he needs to hold it forever, or you need to be very creative on how you get the title off of him. But if you're setting this up for Roman, you're setting Roman up to fail, really. You're like, okay, you're going to put the belt back on Fiend. You're going to tease everybody who's a fan of the Fiend. Okay, that's fine. Then Roman's going to come, and 1 month later, he's going to beat him, and that's it. Roman has the belt, and that's the story that you've been trying to force this entire time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wish they would just think it through. Write this shit backwards, 6 months in advance, a year in advance. If with any character you can do this with, it's the fucking Fiend.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he should be having a few stories. He shouldn't be that crazy. You know, if you don't know what to do, if you don't know how to get out of this fucking dilemma, then don't book him in this fucking feud, even if it makes sense. Just keep him away.
I honestly think this match actually worked out a lot better than you think, Vic. I'll tell you.
The match was bad. I'm just saying.
No. It wasn't bad. This match actually it delivered and it told a good story. I thought
the match. Here's the thing about it. This match was actually not bad. This match was actually good.
It was 10 minutes the way started.
Now here's the thing, right? This match was designed, obviously. You know, if Braun Strowman's going to beat Bray Wyatt, he can't beat the Fiend. He's got to beat Walt Disney Bray Wyatt or Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt, or however they want to present him. Yeah. Or it's designed because the promo that led to the match when they were both in the ring was basically Bray Wyatt wanting to bring Braun Strowman back into the fold, right? Braun Strowman says no, then the match happens, and then Braun Strowman basically has convinced Bray Wyatt somehow that, hey, I'm returning home, and then he basically fools him. Now, yes, now the Bray Wyatt, the Fred Rogers Bray Wyatt character is now he's upset because one of his friends or one of his creations, to use his own word, basically turned on him. So now the Fiend is going to appear. However, I don't think that the Fiend versus Braun Strowman is ever going to happen with the Universal title on the line. I think what will end up happening is that if WWE is smart, keep them separated for a little while, meaning that Braun Strowman continues defending the WWE title, but the Fiend is around, and the Fiend is continuing to kind of play the mind games, and eventually had the Fiend's mind games be the thing that distracts him enough to lose the WWE title. So now the Fiend just kind of, got what he wanted and basically get the belt off of Strowman. Strowman now has a reason to want to tear his head off, the Fiend's head off. You can put them to collide, and then from there you can tell a story that hopefully you can continue telling over the course of several months, because there's no title on the line. Neither one of these guys should be holding the Universal Championship. One is because Strowman is still a rebuild project, and Bray Wyatt's character as the Fiend, as I've said before, is a phenomenal character that is actually done a disservice by holding a championship, because unfortunately when you're the champion, unless WWE is gonna commit to have him hold it for a year or two, it's going to be counterproductive for him to be carrying a championship, because like I said, less is more with Bray Wyatt, at least in the Fiend character.
Sure. Lou, I agree with your idea for this booking, and I would probably do the same thing. I'd find a way to get the belt off of Strowman and continue the feud. But you are giving WWE a little too much credit when it comes to their creative process. They give no fucks. They're not going to put any love into the story. If they put love into the story and they think it through, then yes, they will go with a similar route like that. Get the belt off Strowman in a creative way and continue the story without the title, so that you don't put Bray in a bad situation like you did before. Learn from your mistakes. History says that they do not learn from their mistakes, and they're gonna just fucking have a rematch next month. WWE normally, they're gonna have a rematch next month. They're not gonna care. Next pay-per-view, here it comes, the Fiend against fucking Braun. Fiend's gonna beat him, and that's it.
Listen, I hope you're wrong.
I want what you said.
I hope you're wrong, only because of the fact that realistically, as I've said before countless times, the Fiend needs to be protected. Less is more. Like I said, I'm a fan of Strowman. I like him, but at the same time, he got the WWE title under less than ideal circumstances. So if you wanna build him up as the champion, that's fine, but you got to feed him other guys, and it can't be someone like Bray Wyatt, because you can be Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, but there's only so many of those matches you can have, and they've already exhausted that one match over this past weekend. So I think realistically, it's a matter of keep them separated, and hopefully we're able to tell that story later on. It'll take a little while, and hopefully they gotta they can fill out their roster enough where they can get somebody to beat Strowman. Because in all honesty, if we get that match next month, it's going to be an unfortunate set of circumstances.
All right, next match, the other championship match, the WWE Championship match. Drew McIntyre defeats Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins came out with new theme song. That was the talk of social media. It was all about his new theme song. I mean, I guess if you would ask me, I'll just go, whatever, it fits his character. That's all you could really say. As far as the match, I thought the first half of the match was kind of like a duo trash talking, kind of like to fill each other out. But then after that, both guys delivered, talking about like having a monster world champion, keeping him strong. That's Drew McIntyre, and he proved it in this match. This was a great match. I kind of found it weird at the end when Seth Rollins kind of shaked his hand and kind of like passed the torch to him, due to the fact that Seth is a heel right now. So I found that kind of strange. But aside from that, both guys were kind of like equal. I have no idea what that means right now. But yeah, no, I thought this was a good match. It lasted about 20 minutes. Both guys delivered, and they're keeping McIntyre real strong right now. As far as the character Seth Rollins, we'll see where they take it from here. He's getting that, that dad bong body now, since he's gonna be a kid now. Excuse me, he's gonna have a kid.
We were talking about the
the dad bong.
On Raw,
I don't have. I'm cut up right now, so
Yeah, you're
I
sure.
really don't have that yet.
I think Seth was. I think purposely, his hair was messed up. He was stressed out. I'm talking about on Raw, and he was popping his belly out. I don't think he warmed up. I think everything was.
So you guys noticed that too, huh?
That's where the story's going. I don't know if he's gonna fall into deep depression or whatever, or he's gonna snap. But I guess we'll see. Look, I think, and the new song, the song is horrible. Even if it fits his character, you can make a good song that fits his character. These are just a bunch of generic songs that we're gonna unfortunately have to deal with for all the new people. So get ready. And the match, of course, was solid.
It was good. Very good match. I thought this match was excellent.
This is Seth Rollins, doing back to being good again, because when he was babyface, his stuff was not as good.
Even as a babyface, he was having some kick-ass matches. It was just that, I thought the fans were just turning on him.
I think he disappointed me a lot during his babyface.
Oh, really? Oh. I mean, Roman has some great matches, and, and the fans are always crapping on him, but yet he has some matches.
Roman gets crapped on. Almost every damn babyface gets crapped on.
Yeah.
Roman was getting crapped on. This is all because of Danny Bryan back in the day.
Yeah.
Ever since that Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
That's
he paid the price on that.
The end of Roman. Like, no, we want Danny Bryan, and that's it. But anyway.
Lou.
Really good match. I didn't want it so early. But I guess that's why they're doing they're adding layers to Seth's character right now, so that maybe they can build him back up in the future. Yeah. Have the match on a bigger stage, and the match will be even better. And this match was good, but maybe they'll save it for the crowd. They probably didn't have anyone, and they rushed to have Seth do it. But I think they found a creative way. Drew gets a big win. Now Seth is pissed. He can go away for a little bit. He can add dimensions to his character.
Yeah.
A different story. They shook hands, which
I found that weird when that happened. I was like, why are these guys shaking hands? Whatever.
It's not like Seth is like this 20-year veteran.
Yeah.
That, is passing the torch. You're a fucking young guy who's gonna be feuding with this guy for the next 7 years, 8 years.
You're in the prime of your career right now. There's no such thing as shaking hands.
You're also
it's all about like stomping you. I'm the best.
He's also doing really good work as a heel, so it's like, I'm not ready for you to be shaking hands, bro. Unless you're gonna manipulate the situation later, and we're gonna tell this story. But let's see.
Well, the whole thing of the handshake at the end, it all had to do with the promo that Seth cut. On the Raw before the pay-per-view show. It's basically, Seth is cutting a promo telling Drew, hey, you're a benevolent man, you're a good man, but you're not a leader. After McIntyre beat Rollins, he's basically looking at him. He said, if you're a leader, you'll shake my hand. Rollins didn't do it like, oh yeah, you're the better man. He did it because he was essentially shamed into doing it. Because if he wants to be considered a leader, then he needs to go and do quote unquote the right thing and shake his hand. That's what led to the whole thing on Raw, where he basically worked the tag match, just hanging out in the corner, just looking all disheveled. And all it took was for Rey Mysterio to just tap him one time, and then Seth snapped. For those who watch Raw, now Rey Mysterio, in storyline only has one good eye. So
and he got thrown off a roof not the night
before. Let me tell you that guy's a walking miracle, man. God bless him. But the thing is, realistically, listen, the match was great. When you talk about McIntyre and Rollins, they're not going to have a bad match under the circumstances. This is the example of two guys who can work a great match with a crowd, no crowd, it doesn't matter. They're going to be able to hold your attention. They'll be able to tell a good story, which they did. They got to the finish when they did the exchanges, and McIntyre got the Claymore on him. I love the way that Rollins sold it. He sold it like he got hit, and he was just like when somebody really gets knocked out, like the body just kind of stiffens up. It's not like he laid flat, prone. He really did a great job of selling it. It looked good. So yeah, this is going to be a match. It's the preamble to many things to come. I think that it's a way, because like I said, Rollins right now, with all the work that he's done and all the goodwill that he's built up over the last 6, 7, 8 years with WWE, he's not hurt at all by losing to McIntyre. It's actually McIntyre needed that win more than Rollins. It's almost like McIntyre needed to work with Rollins more than Rollins needed to work with McIntyre in this particular instance, because even though McIntyre is very popular, but under the circumstances, the way everything worked out with him, winning the WWE Championship essentially in an empty soundstage, it falls really flat. So WWE needs to build him up and have him beat top line guys. And with somebody like Rollins, the way that they continued the story on Raw, they added a complete dimension to his character. Now they can continue building that up. Whereas McIntyre now is going to work with other people. Again, they keep having him beat Andrade, which I have an issue with. But that's a matter of, I think, a thin roster. That's neither here nor there. But I'm sure he'll get Bobby Lashley and he'll get other guys to work with and keep building up. Rollins is not finished at all. He'll be right back soon enough, and hopefully within another couple of months they can kind of reintroduce and hook those two guys back up. But this story is long from over.
Yeah, I hope they take more of an AEW.
There's more good matches coming.
Do this shit 6 months from now. Tease it all the time.
Oh yeah.
Tease it all the time. Every 3 weeks, have Seth give Drew a weird look or something. Have them cross paths. And then in 4, 5, 6 months, then let's come back to it. Yeah,
great. All right, guys, and now what we were all waiting for, the main event of the night. Both men and women Money in the Bank ladder matches. And as I speak for many fans, I thought this match was entertaining. It was very good. I love a lot of the spots, a lot of the segments. I did enjoy the way Asuka just started off. All the girls all lining up and just waiting on Asuka. She's like on top of like whatever it was. I think it was like a balcony or something. And she's just jump on the girls, get in the elevator, and head straight upstairs. As far as the men's, they started, I believe. Where did they start off? Do you guys remember? I believe it was a gym.
They started in the gym.
It started in the gym. Yeah, I found it kind of weird when Daniel Bryan came out like all excited. I got a feeling I don't think he realized that the cameras were rolling, because he was like, "All right, come on, guys, are you excited? Are you ready for for tonight? This is gonna be great." And I'm thinking in my head like, dude, they're recording right now. I don't even think you realize that the cameras were on. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was great. It was nice to see Bruce Pritchard. It was nice to see Johnny Ace. It was nice to see Doink the Clown, or whatever version of Doink the Clown this guy was. Yeah, it was a good match. It was a good match, and as soon as it got up there, it half delivered. I thought Asuka deserved it, but as far as Otis, it was like, what? Like, talk about a swerve, bro. Let's see where we'll go from there. I see Otis just basically being an unsuccessful cash-in. I don't see him as a world championship material guy. But yeah, as far as this match, I thought it was good. It was entertaining. Yeah, I really don't know what else to say about this match.
It's a tricky one. I was entertained. It did have my attention. I did like they went with background music for most of it instead of commentators. Or I like that. I like that it wasn't just
it was kind of like a movie setting. It was almost kind of like the Boneyard match. Yes,
but it wasn't as. They clearly used their regular cameras, and in the Boneyard match they didn't. So it's like, dude, pick one. Let's go full cinematic, or let's just keep regular. Clearly, the music and the music tells me that this was supposed to be cinematic, except it wasn't that cinematic. But that's whatever. It didn't bother me that much. But a few things did bother me. The comedy just didn't make me laugh, Bruce Pritchard didn't make me laugh. It would have been nice to see these old characters, but like in the bathroom, his music comes on. It's like.
And then, yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but when he zipped, it made a weird noise, kind of like, you know, he pinched himself.
Yeah, like you could have just ran into him and he'd be like, hey!
Yeah, you could have just ran into him instead of him using the bathroom.
Like, why is it like, okay, Brother Love is in the bathroom and we're gonna play his music, and it's like it didn't really hit for me. So Vince McMahon didn't make me laugh. They keep trying to force Vince McMahon to do comedy. Every time I see him do comedy, I don't laugh. But AJ and Brian afterwards, they made me laugh. I laughed for them. I didn't like that Asuka takes the elevator and doesn't beat people to the roof. Like
any advantage, man. You have to do any advantage. Any advantage.
And then what happened after that? It took you 40
minutes. The risk is worth the reward, brother. The risk is worth the reward. I was fine with that.
20 minutes, and then you weren't the first one on the roof? Thank God. This did not.
That didn't make any sense, yeah.
Thank God she won the match, because if she loses the match after she was the only person who got to use the elevator, you know how stupid she would have looked? How did you get lost? You had the elevator. You should have been the first one on the roof. You should have won in 5 minutes. But whatever. I did like Asuka winning, especially if Sasha's not in the match. You know, Asuka's the person I wanted to win. I think she deserves it. She's earned it. She's one of the few people on TV you've seen her get over on her own.
Yes.
So when you add that she's one of the most believable females, like her work just looks so crispy, so good. And then she has this cool character. She's the one, she works hard. She adds little layers to her character every now and then. And then if you're talking about WWE entertainment, her entertainment value, her dancing and her promos in Japanese when she's rolling her and doing all that shit is all great.
It's entertaining, yeah, and she's getting herself over.
Yeah, she's you know, to me, the people that were in the match, she's the one that I wanted to see win it. And I'm glad that she did win it. There was also another stupid spot, though. I forgot who it is. In the beginning, there were two people. I think it's Corbin and somebody else. They go up the ladders together, right? And
yes, it was him and
Asuka and Corbin.
It was Asuka.
Asuka and Corbin are going up together.
And then
Asuka hit him?
No. Corbin tries to stop her, which made no sense at all. It's like you guys are fighting for two different briefcases. That didn't make any sense at all. I thought that was
fighting. Y'all could both win.
Yeah, that made no sense at all. I'm sorry.
It's like it's like you need some subtlety here. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's like
that was one part of the match. It didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, it's like okay, whatever. Okay, but I'm happy Asuka won. And Otis is tricky for me because it's like I like Otis and I think he has a lot of charisma, like more than most. And he's getting over slowly, but he's not fully over yet. So, you know, he's not there yet. I don't know how they're going to get him ready. So I don't think he's cashing in. I don't even think it's going to, he's either cashing in for a tag team.
Or he's going to defend it.
Or he's going to give it to Mandy. I don't think he's going to lose. I think Mandy's going to manipulate him, or he is so in love, he's going to give it to Mandy and go, you should take this case and you should use it. Or it's going to be a tag team thing. I don't see him going after any world title. If he does, I guess you could have the story that he has this great showing and he gets close. And with the right guy, I think Drew is a good guy to do something like that with. You know, if he gets close and, you know, he can get sympathy from the crowd.
You can get a good match out of him.
Even Strowman. If he can get sympathy from the crowd, Strowman's probably better. Yeah, Strowman's better. Because he's bigger. Yeah.
He's more believable, too.
And people don't care if Strowman gets his ass kicked in this match.
Nobody cared whether Strowman wins or loses.
Yeah. But, you know, Strowman can kind of kick Otis's ass. But then Otis can come back, you know, fire up on him. And, you know, I think he can get over in a loss. So maybe they can do that. I don't know what they're going to do. It's a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, Otis reminds me a lot. he has a lot of similarities to the American Dream, the world. I don't know why. He just has that charisma about him. I mean, not as big as the American Dream. Yeah.
Through the roof, his charisma.
Yeah. Lou, our apologies, brother. Go ahead,
No
go for it.
No worries, no apologies.
Your favorite match of the night, man. Go for it.
Oh, yeah,
Lou has had 20-minute moments in this game.
I will say this about this particular match. This match will probably go down as like a guilty pleasure. It's it's almost like one of my favorite bad movies. If you guys have ever seen the movie UHF, it's one. So
it must be bad.
Listen, it's with Weird Al Yankovic. It's basically a parody of television in the 1980s. The movie is bad. I tell people all the time. I think it's funny if I watch it maybe once every other year. I could get a crack out of it, but it is not a great movie. It's not even a good movie by any stretch. But it's so bad that it's good. That's what I think of this match. If I wanted to critique this as a wrestling match, forget about it. This is not a wrestling match. This is basically a cluster. It's what it was meant to be. It was a cluster. It had good athleticism in certain spots. It had funny moments. And I agree with Victor. When WWE tries to do comedy, it's forced and it's really not that funny. When you introduce Brother Love, that was silly. They had Johnny Ace, they had Stephanie McMahon.
I forgot about Steph. Yeah.
People power. And then they have.
I did laugh for Johnny Ace.
I thought it was It was nice to see him.
It's so crispy.
Yeah, him and Brother Love, man. They those guys have similar styles.
I laugh for Johnny Ace.
When it comes to dressing, I thought those two dudes have to have the same taste.
It's just I think to me the thing that kind of again I have to look at this much differently. But there were moments, especially after AJ and Daniel Bryan fought out of Vince McMahon's office, and then they're literally like, "Oh yeah, well you were totally scared," and blah blah blah, acting like two little kids when their parents yell at them. And then all of a sudden, then one guy throws a right hand on the other, and then they start running. It's just so exactly. You start laughing, but it's so dumb that it's just like. See, if it would have been, two other guys, the thing about it is that realistically, the only real guy in this match from the men's side who could have gotten away with comedy, obviously Otis could get away with it, and maybe Corbin. Because Aleister Black is not booked that way.
My God, what was the moment that the damn food fight and Aleister?
How dumb was that?
I'm okay with the food fight, but Aleister was in the room. He needs to get the fuck out of that room. He needs to be like, what the fuck? No, fuck this.
No, but he's
the one guy that should not be in that room.
But here's the thing that drove me nuts, and this seems really crazy. Is like I don't understand why it was that Shayna Baszler chose to choke out Rey Mysterio in the middle of that food fight. Again, Rey Mysterio is not one of Shayna Baszler's opponents. She's wasting her time dealing with that. She's actually helping somebody else that's not her.
They were gonna interact regardless.
There were a lot of moments in this match where I can understand that they're trying to integrate the two matches together, and they have to.
Yeah, and you knew that was gonna happen. That something like that was gonna happen.
Yeah, you have to integrate the spots. But it's just a matter that you gotta think of it logically. Even though it is not considered, this match is not being created as a wrestling match. It's created to be a cluster. But at the same time, you can have the comedy spots and you can do all of these things, but there has to be some logic to the point where even if both matches intersect with each other, the wrestlers like if I'm wrestling in a match like that and I run into one of the women. It's like, I'm not going to hit her because I'm thinking to myself, it's like, you're not one of my opponents. Deuces. I'm going to
I guess that goes back to the Corbin and Asuka. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, no, that spot was completely silly. The fact that they, that when he threw Corbin, when he threw Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black off the roof, and I just thought to myself, I'm like, he threw two guys off the roof within a matter of 30 seconds. I'm like, I can understand if you do it to one guy for the effect, but once you do it the second time, it's like you lose the effect, because now it's like, that shock and awe moment, knowing that there are no commentators to say, oh my God, Corbin just did this. And then the fact is the next night, Corbin's on TV, saying like, oh yeah, well they were lucky, they just fell off a roof 6 feet, there was an overhang roof 6 feet,
Yeah,
below.
that they felt like
Like
on a fucking couch or something.
I didn't catch that, so thank God they said something.
Well, yeah, I mean they had to.
The announcer should have been like, hey guys, just so y'all know.
By the way, yeah, those guys are not dead. They're fine.
Last night, Ray and Alistair were thrown off the roof. But there's two roofs, basically. There's 6 feet below the roof. There's another roof.
And as goofy as goofy, as goofy as this might sound, but it may have been something that if there is a roof that's like 6 feet on the overhang, like an overhang roof.
True though, they do have.
Oh yeah. But what I'm saying is that even though they're obviously going to land on crash pads or something underneath. But what they could have done is obviously this is recorded. So they're filming it. Is they should probably show Aleister Black or Rey Mysterio either laid out, or they're trying to get up and they're trying to climb back up and they fail.
Yeah,
and it's too late.
They could be hurt. They can be hurt.
Yes.
But, they're out of the match, but just show like, oh shit, it's still a bad fall.
To show a visual.
I mean, all I'm saying
visual
is that
shot.
That's one of those. It's listen. It sounds like a very small, almost innocuous thing, but realistically, those little details matter, because the thing is, when you tell the story the next night on Raw, and both Mysterio and Aleister Black are tag teaming, and neither one of them are even selling any kind of injury from that fall, that sounds really silly, because you're falling from a roof, even though there's another one 6 feet down.
You're bound to get hurt.
You're gonna fall on concrete, dude. Yeah. That hurts. So it's like, again, those are all little things that that just needed to be touched upon. But to get to the winners with Asuka, absolutely, Asuka by far was the best candidate to win this match. And then we'll discuss in the next segment here. We'll discuss a little further on Asuka with Otis. I picked AJ Styles to win the match, and obviously they did the same silly gimmick with Otis. He's trying to climb the ladder and the steps break. So obviously they're using some continuity there. Obviously the way that he won was still meant to be comedic. It's like, AJ Styles and Corbin are fighting for the briefcase, and then Corbin gets knocked over. The briefcase.
AJ will go grab it, slips out of his hand,
and then Otis catches it. Listen, it's silly. I would not have chosen Otis to win, but I think WWE might know what they're doing here. I hope, because the thing is, Otis, for some reason, in this particular time where WWE has kind of been working with a thin roster, I think that they must be seeing some kind of a silver lining with Otis, and they must be seeing something in him that they feel like, okay, he makes a good candidate to hold the Money in the Bank briefcase. Again, I would not have chosen him. But knowing that surprise element, I think it works out well for the shock factor. The unfortunate thing is that there is no heel champion, because Braun Strowman is presented as a babyface, and so is Drew McIntyre. I mean, in a situation like, let's say if Braun Strowman was a heel, Braun Strowman can work,
then it would make
a match
some sort of sense.
And then have Otis win, because in all honesty, I think that having Otis win the WWE Championship or the Universal title, would really be kind of goofy, because he's certainly not been presented at that level. I don't think that he's gonna give Mandy Rose the briefcase for a championship match, because if WWE's worked as hard as they have over the last month or so in turning Mandy Rose babyface, it would just be completely stupid to have her do that. And the thing is that to have him with Tucker, and now they want to work for the tag team championship, that doesn't make any sense either, because in all honesty, the tag team titles are so devalued that even if Tucker just showed up and said, hey, you want a match against the New Day, they're going to get it. Because Otis and Tucker as a team are more over than the other three teams in which the New Day wrestled on this very same show. So there's no, that just doesn't make any sense. I don't know how WWE is going to be able to make this work, but here, like I said, here's to hopefully, some fun creative. Because in all honesty, when I saw that, I shook my head just thinking to myself, man, I would have lost a lot of money had I had I put up any money on this match. But in all honesty, he would have probably been the last guy that I would have chosen because because I don't think that he's presented to be like, oh, he's going to be our top guy. But who knows? I mean, maybe they're trying to do some sort of creative with him, and hopefully, if they're going to put the belt on him, as long as he doesn't beat the Fiend, do not have him beat the Fiend. He can beat Strowman.
No one should beat the Fiend.
No, but what I'm saying is that if they're gonna put the title on Otis, it would make sense to have him beat Strowman. That would be a creative way to kind of take the belt. You can even have a babyface versus babyface match with Otis and have Otis beat him, obviously with the help of the Fiend. But that could be a creative way to take the belt off of Strowman. Because in all honesty, if you're gonna have Strowman and Fiend, Universal title's got to be out of the way.
And you know what? I will commend WWE for doing something, taking a chance, because they have these guys and girls who start to get over organically on their own, just because of them, because of their character, they start to get over. Otis is getting over. Otis is pretty over on his own. Like, it's like even before the Mandy storyline, like the 5 seconds he does a caterpillar and that's it. The crowd is losing their damn mind. People love Otis. He has a crazy.
Yeah, he's gotten over on his own naturally.
Yeah,
he's gotten over on his own. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, he's made it work. He's made it work.
Is to at least try to push. Yeah. Let's try. Let's try to get this person over the hump instead of going, go grab that brass ring. It's like, okay, we're gonna give you a little push since we know that you've gotten over. He's gotten over on his own without a push. Sometimes, sometimes if you like have a little faith in these characters, you don't know what's gonna come. What's gonna come of it. He could legitimately be a huge star, like easily. He could easily be one of the most over people in the entire company.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think with a guy like Otis, one of the things that has helped him is obviously the situation which WWE is in currently, because they have such a thin roster, because either guys can't work because of the coronavirus pandemic, or the guys are injured. So listen, there's Otis is over, and he's gotten over with the crowd, but this is also a timing thing for him. It's just perfect timing. And the stars are aligning, and if Otis gets this opportunity, hey, listen, I'm all for seeing somebody else that I haven't seen before and in that top spot. And if Otis can produce, hell,
that's now we know this is the direction we want to go in. You can easily start putting him in, high profile situations and see what happens, and then go, oh, yeah, we're right. This guy really is over, and they can either, if they want to put the belt on him. Look, Strowman is a baby face, but a lot of people don't want to see him with that title. Otis cashes in on Strowman, people are gonna lose their minds in a positive way.
Well, yeah, but the thing
that's a good feel moment.
Oh yeah. The thing that hurts this is the fact that you don't have the audience, a live crowd with an audience reaction. So, WWE is obviously they're taking a chance with Otis and hoping that it pans out, because I'm sure that with a guy like Strowman, I mean, realistically, under normal circumstances, if the coronavirus pandemic would not happen, this Money in the Bank match would have looked a lot different. Roman Reigns would probably be the Universal Champion right now, and Braun Strowman would probably be in a whole different place in the card. So it's all a matter of just the situation and the timing. And in all honesty, if you want to find a creative way to kind of get the belt off of Strowman, Otis would be the guy. It's just a matter that this is something that has to be told over a certain period of time, because I don't want Otis to kind of be, these examples are not exactly the same, but it's kind of like with Jinder Mahal. The only difference is that Otis has been winning and Otis has been shown stronger, but I don't necessarily know that like an audience would take him seriously if they were to put the belt on him now. If WWE were to decide to put the world championship on Otis, I don't think that the audience would take it seriously, and that's not something that you want with your world champion. So, you got some time to build him up. I'm sure that they're going to feed him like Nakamura and Cesaro, and they'll feed him, upper mid-level guys. to make him look strong. But at some point, if whatever WWE decides to do, it's just a matter of making sure that Otis is strong enough and over enough that if they put the strap on him, he could still be the goofy, fun-loving guy or whatever, but there has to be a certain layer of seriousness to him, because once you're talking about the world title, you're talking about main event, and you can't be.
I like Kofi.
You can't be goofing around. Yeah, I mean with Kofi, but with Kofi Kingston, Kofi Kingston's story is completely different.
It's serious when he had the title.
Exactly, and
You're right.
And the thing is that Otis has charisma up the nose. I mean that dude's got a whole bunch of charisma, and he's gonna get over with the audience. It's all a matter of making sure that he's portrayed stronger and more believable, so that if at any point the WWE puts the championship on him, that when he goes out and he works, people take his matches seriously as main event matches.